Now, if you've read a lot of manga, manhwa, and webtoons, then you've definitely come across this trope, the trope where the villain becomes the hero.
Hello, Zuko here.
Maybe it's a classic webtoon trope like character possession, where the hero is now in possession of the villain's body, like the greatest estate developer. Perhaps the hero becomes morally corrupted by forces outside of his control, like in The Hero Returns. Or how about even if a psychopath who thinks about shooting everyone he has a problem with, even his own fiancé, becomes morally aware and chooses to do the right thing in spite of their innate nature, like Jagan. The villain becoming the hero is a trope as old as its counterpart, the hero becoming the villain. So here are 5 manga and manhwa that feature the villain we did not want, becoming the hero we needed all along. The perfect trope to start with is the villain that is not actually a villain. Whether it's because they were framed, or in this case, because he's just real scary looking.
This 12-year-old child has a negative canthal tilt, high upper eyelid exposure, a recessed jaw, and bug eyes. The question on everyone's mind: is it over for him?
Angel Densetsu is the story of Kitano Seichiro. Despite his dashing good looks, he seeks nothing more than to be of use and help people. You may have heard of the author before, Norihiro Yagi. He made a little manga called Claymore. Angel Densetsu is his earlier work, and one I really enjoyed more than Claymore itself, just because of the character's charisma. It follows the story of our main character, Kitano Seichiro, a shy kid born with a terrifying face. Quote, his eyebrows were nearly non-existent, and he had to use liberal application of hair gel in order to keep his vicious bedhead under control. His year-round ghost-pale skin and black marks under his eyes made him look like a patient in for a heroin overdose. So he looked like this. End quote. However, despite his appearance, or perhaps in spite of it, he just wants to make friends and be of help to people. The story follows Kitano as he conquers the school purely through accident. It's the twisted fate of a monster born with a heart of gold. Until one day, hopefully, one day, one person will come to understand even a part of his heart. And then another will see it in its entirety, and then eventually, he will be surrounded by friends. Ake no Tobari is a similarly lighthearted story. Sitting at 326 chapters, it's a simple story about a powerful demon named Tobari and a human named Reimei. Tobari, when he was a young demon, went down his mountain and befriended a human girl named Sayuri. Because of that friendship and Tobari's innate nature to value life, Tobari grew close with Sayuri and discovered his dream to create a world where all humans and demons can be friends. Our story takes place many decades later, when Tobari has come back to visit his old friend while in the middle of his journey to realize his dream. He discovers the guardian priest of this village and asks for permission to entry, even enduring blows from both his fellow demons and the priest, Reimei. Reimei eventually relents and grants him permission to see Sayuri after seeing how genuine Tobari is. Tobari is let into the village, but no matter how strong of a friendship they once had, the flow of time is cruel. Tobari, despite this, uses his yokai magic to whisk her into an illusory space away from her frail body. The two catch up, and Tobari tells him he's still in the middle of realizing his dream. And for one last time, Sayuri cheers him on, saying that she will be waiting for more of his stories when he comes back. Tobari lays her to rest and makes his way back to Reimei, telling him that the real work is just beginning. In order to make this dream come true, his first step is to combine his home mountain with this village. So Reimei, you wanna create a paradise together? Sounds good. Although the night turned into dawn, I'm still seeing a dream. Unlike the previous two, where the villain is not really villainous, in this case, our protagonist is a straight-up vile piece of shit. The Guchan Village Mystery is a horrifying story that is still ongoing. Currently at 42 chapters on Webtoon, the description of it goes like this. Quote, Mumyoung-hae's grandmother passed away years ago, but when he visits her home to spend some time in the quiet countryside, he notices that someone kept it clean this whole time. His new neighbors aren't exactly thrilled by his visit, In fact, most of them don't want him around, but that's when his nasty neighbors go missing one by one, for better or for worse, end quote. However, the twist here is that Moon Young-ho's whole reason for moving to this remote village, even so far as to discard his phone and many sources of personally identifiable information, is that he is hiding, laying low from the law because he himself is a serial murderer. The story gets all kinds of messed up, and if you're willing to endure that, then this might be a great read for you. This manhwa is not for the faint of heart. Bringing the tone back up a bit, the next story is called The Unrivaled Villain, or Villain Unrivaled, and is about the classic trope of character possession. The art is extremely unique too. The faces are stylistically distinct from other manhwa that I've read. Our protagonist is Lee Si-woon, a middle-aged man living in Korea. One day, while moving apartments, he discovers on his laptop an old incomplete martial arts novel that he wrote in his college years as a hero. As he opens the folder, it glows, and in classic isekai fashion, he is transported into the world of his novel and into the body of the youngest master of the heavenly demonic cult, Hyuk Ron-won, a notorious delinquent and overall piece of shit. Hyuk Ron-won has a horrible reputation, but even besides that, the young master is one of the first villains to be killed by the novel's protagonist, Tae Mugan. Now our villain, using his knowledge of the novel that he wrote, has to completely change his reputation, deal with the many enemies he's incurred, and avoid dying by the hands of the novel's true protagonist. Villain Initialization is a great find. I read a couple years ago. It's a Chinese manhwa and actually has decent translations online. The first couple chapters have missing plurals here and there, but it quickly tightens up. And not only that, the plot is very easy to follow, and the pacing doesn't feel awkward. Like I feel like a lot of the Chinese manhwa space tends to be like Tales of Demons and Gods. Tanlos is a notorious villain, equipped with extremely advanced tech. Yimu is the hero here, and he is basically Superman. Super strong, super fast, able to fly, nearly indestructible, got laser vision, and despite his immense strength and speed, Yimu always seems to be a step behind Panlos, and has constantly eluded him despite his constant efforts and persistence. During the climax of their antagonism, Yimu corners Panlos and manages to knock off his mask. Under the mask of Panlos is Ling Chen, Yimu's friend for more than a decade. Shocked by the betrayal, Yimu asks Ling Chen, "So you just disappeared, and during that time you planned all of this?" "As you can see. Are you satisfied now with everything that happened?" "No. Yimu, I want you to die." Yimu looks at the destruction around him and makes his resolve to kill Ling Chen. Yimu fires an unstoppable red blast while Ling Chen shoots an overwhelming blue laser from the device on his wrist. The blasts collide and Ling Chen's consciousness fades to black. A moment later, his eyes flutter open as someone calls out for Yi Zimu. They head past Ling Chen and towards Yi Zimu. Ling Chen looks at the young Yimu as he has been transported to the past. Villain Initialization is one of the most clearly comic book inspired manhwa I have seen in a while. Another that comes to mind is Superhuman Era, but even that is not nearly as clear and direct of an inspiration as Villain Initialization, who just has Chinese Superman, and our protagonist is just not so edgy broke Batman. However, don't let that detract from the story itself. I love when media intersects in this way because it provides the true opportunity for the cultures to mix in an organic way and for different perspectives to give different interpretations. The best example of this isn't our main character Ling Chen, who has a very similar story to Batman, one of hardship and your parents dying for whatever reason. It's our deuteragonist, Yi Zimu. Compared to our Western Clark Kent, who grows up in a loving family, encouraged to hide his powers and protect his virtue, even sometimes at the expense of Clark Kent's own loved ones. Compared to our Boy Scout over here, Yi Zimu is burdened with the responsibility of his powers and the weight of his own conscience. Panlos briefly mentions in the opening fight that Yi Zimu killed his father way back when. Obviously it's set up and I won't go into spoilers on exactly what happens, but it's true. He did kill his father. Eventually, Yizumu, unlike our goody two-shoes soups, was always made to succeed. No, excel. He was a product, a well-crafted machine made to succeed at everything and do his father's bidding. You see, after his mother had passed away, Yizumu's father became cruel, driven to make his child succeed and be happy no matter what, even at the expense of that very day-to-day happiness. Burdened with expectation and responsibility, Yizimu's life with his family was much different than that of his Western counterpart, but led to a similar resulting character. Panlos, or Ling Chen on the other hand, slowly prevents incidents in his own life, such as the death of his aunt, while still trying to kill Yizimu, while paradoxically also getting closer to him. It's a wonderful story, and it goes to show you that if even a villain can change so dramatically throughout the course of a story, if given just one more chance, then maybe all of us are just a product of circumstance. Thanks for watching!
Clouds too high, clouds too red, wounded sky.
I'm sorry it has to end this way, brother.
No, you're not. Today? What's the matter? Afraid I'll redirect it?
I'll show you lightning!